I still have feelings for my ex-wife. I, a 28-year-old man, used to be married to an amazing woman. We divorced 2 years ago, and we were dating for 1 year, married for 3. She was and still is the love of my life, and our divorce is my biggest regret. My mother was a nightmare mother-in-law. I stupidly let her involve herself in our marriage, mistreat my ex-wife by constantly criticizing her. I never called her to complain about my ex or sided with her against my ex-wife, but I should have enforced strict boundaries with her as soon as I realized she was going to be a problem for us. I did go no contact with her twice during my ex-wife's miscarriages because I didn't want her to have added stress. However, during our second miscarriage, my mother found out by reading some texts off my sister's phone and went ballistic. She found out it was the second one from the texts too. She turned up to our home, and instead of turning her away instantly, I took her into the living room and tried to explain things to her, while my ex-wife, who was upstairs resting, was unaware of her being there. My mother pretended to calm down, but when I went into our backyard to bring the cats inside, she went upstairs and woke my ex-wife up. She screamed at her for ruining my relationship with her and made some horrible comments about her being barren. By the time I got upstairs, 5 minutes later, because the cats were not very happy with me bringing them inside, my ex-wife was in tears. I kicked my mother out immediately, but that was my ex-wife's final straw, and we split up a month later and agreed to remain friends. We acknowledged that we still had feelings for each other, but that this relationship wasn't beneficial to her anymore. We lived in the United States, but my ex-wife's dad lives in the United Kingdom. So after our divorce, she went to spend some time with him and ended up getting employed by one of his friends. I was devastated by the divorce. I immediately went no contact with my mother and put myself into therapy. Therapy helped me understand that my relationship with my mother wasn't healthy, and I learned some good strategies to keep communication with her healthy, so I'm now in low contact with her. We only speak during family events. My siblings have told me that she still doesn't see what she's done wrong, so I definitely won't be advancing beyond less contact for the foreseeable future. I've not moved on from my divorce, and I think I'm even more in love with my ex than I have been before. I've not seen anyone new, and she's constantly on my mind. During the first 6 months of my ex-wife living in the United Kingdom, we didn't speak. However, on our wedding anniversary, she sent me a text that read, "Happy unanniversary. Insert a nickname that she used to call me," followed by, "I thought we agreed to stay friends, loser." For the rest of her first year away, we texted each other every now and then, like on my birthday, her birthday, and my brother's birthday. For my brother's birthday, she sent him to my house and I gave it to him for her. Before the magnetic resonance angiographies get here, my brother is gay, and they have been friends since they were children. He set us up on our first date, so I don't want any crazy direct messaged. During her second year away, we fell into a more typical friendship. And I told her about the therapy I had, after she asked me if I had cut the umbilical cord yet. She told me about 2 men that she had dated and about how both relationships ended. I wasn't weird about it, but it made me think about how much I missed her and how much I still loved her. My thoughts kept me up that night, and I couldn't stop hating myself for ruining things with her. I still have both of our wedding rings and her engagement ring. Due to recent world events, she hasn't been able to come visit anyone here in the United States, but she's moving back in October. I was actually the first person she told about that. Everyone's pretty excited, and my brother is organizing a homecoming party for her, and I've been invited. It's probably going to be hosted at my house, our marital home, because I'm the only person in our circle who lives alone. However, my brother asked me if I'd hang out with her by myself at some point. I wasn't planning on asking her to, but now that he's brought it up, it's all I can think of. They are best friends, so some part of me is thinking she might have put him up to it, just like she did when she asked him to set us up together in the first place. I asked my sister for her input, but she said that I shouldn't ask her to meet up with me, and I should wait for her to ask if wants to. I think she might still have feelings for me, because when she was telling me about one of her breakups, she said, "None of the men over here can handle me like you can." but her humor is generally flirtatious, so I can't be sure. I would love an outside perspective on this. Would asking her out be the right thing to do? Thanks for reading. Mini update. Y'all have convinced me to ask her now instead of waiting for October. It's late in the United Kingdom right now, but I will call her tomorrow. Thanks for all of the encouragement. I wanted to clarify what I meant by less contact, since I know everyone has a different interpretation of it. The less contact I have is only saying happy birthday to each other in the family group chat. We're never the first to say it to each other, and the conversation doesn't advance beyond that point. Whenever she comes up to me at family events, which isn't often anymore, she usually asks how I am and for updates on my life. I give her one-worded answer and gray rock the rest. My therapist calls this method civil no contact, which I think is more accurate. She freaked out about no contact when my ex-wife first left and regularly blew up my phone. Less contact has been more peaceful. I am aware this will change if my ex-wife and I get back together, and I'll be working with my therapist to create a plan for every possibility. I plan on returning to no contact after the phone call tomorrow, and I want to make it as safe and peaceful as possible. So if a tiny bit of conversation is what it takes, I'll do it. I'm logging off now because this is making me anxious in a good way. Don't worry. Next time y'all will hear from me is after our conversation. Big update. I asked if she'd like to come out to dinner with me when she's back. She said yes. She actually asked me what took me so long to ask Almeo. She said that if I hadn't asked her before the week before her return, then she would have asked me out. So thank you guys so much for pushing me to call her. I feel like me making the first move is more meaningful, as I was the one who ruined our marriage. I'm literally on cloud 11 right now. We're going to take it slow this time. We got engaged after 6 months the first time round. I'm also going to be picking her up from the airport. Do I bring her flowers? I also spoke to her about my mom. She was aware of the civil no contact arrangement we had, and she said she didn't mind if I kept it, but I didn't want to, and I made that clear. I only tolerate my mom's presence for my siblings and their children at events, but I am going to stop attending and celebrate important stuff with them at a different time. I'm hoping my nieces and nephews harass my siblings enough about me being missing from their birthday parties that my siblings uninvite my mom, Lil Mayo. I know I'm their favorite uncle. I apologized to her immensely, and she said she'd hang up if I apologized anymore, so I had to quit. I know this is just the beginning, and more apologies will definitely follow once we start to discuss our failed marriage, so I'm not trying to max out her apology acceptance capacity. She's also agreed to start couples counseling with me once she gets back. We also discussed the possibility of, if we do get married again, us moving to the United Kingdom. She said that she wants to stay in the town I'm currently in for the next few years, as she's missed her family and friends here a lot. Her maternal family is her. Her paternal family is in the United Kingdom. But she said returning to the United Kingdom wasn't off the table completely, and I told her I'd follow her in a heartbeat. She called me a nerd Mayo. Our conversation lasted 2 hours, and she had to go because she's taking her younger siblings out. She also said she had been asking my brother to hint to me that she wanted me back, so I was right about what he was doing. I saw a comment earlier saying that I should have just asked my brother to spill it out properly, and I wish I could convey how insanely annoying he is to y'all. I'd have to hold him hostage to get him to say anything. I know we have so much more to discuss in the month before she returns, and I'm making a priority list. Psycho Mom is at the top. I told my ex I wanted to sell the house so my mom won't have my address, and I swear she wanted to reach through the screen and choke me. She loves the house, and she said I can't list it anywhere or speak to a real estate agent before she has the chance to look around again, and I'm happy to oblige my queen. I also saw some comments saying that I shouldn't send my mom that email, explaining my boundaries and consequences for her breaking them. I don't know if it was here, and since my ex-wife doesn't want to leave this town for the near future, and given how small the town is, it's likely for my mother to run into us together and separately. I run into my mom at least once a week and we ignore each other. I would hope she would have the decency not to say anything, but she can't be trusted. I will be taking legal action if she does break our boundaries. Advice on this is appreciated. My current plan is to attempt total no contact in the month before my ex-wife returns. There are 4 family birthdays coming up, so it'll be perfect. My absence at all 4 events will definitely be noticed by her, and I can see her reaction to it. I might also ask my brother and sister to sit her down and tell her not to bother me, and that I've decided to go total no contact. But I'd like to know if that's a good idea. I know some of y'all are mad at civil no contact, but it's kept the peace I needed for the past 2 years. However, I know everything will be different when my ex-wife is back. Thank you all so much. You're all invited to our second wedding. She found this post off Best Redditor Updates. She called me a total nerd. She wants me to thank y'all for convincing me to call her instead of waiting for October. And she told me to call her my girlfriend instead of ex-wife. So that's what I'll be using from now on. I won't be making an update post tomorrow. This sub only allows 1 update, and I'd rather save it for when my girlfriend is back. Also, I'm fully aware that my mom is a racist. By closet racist, I meant someone who's kept it hidden effectively for so long. She's also just a freaking weirdo in general, so there's multiple reasons for why she doesn't like my girlfriend and my brother's boyfriend other than race. She hates my girlfriend because of her messed up family background and for the miscarriages in addition to race, and she hates my brother's boyfriend for being into motorbikes and smoking the green. She's incredibly absurd, so at the beginning I wasn't sure if it was racism or not, but now it's pretty obvious. My sister's boyfriend is also black. He's my girlfriend's cousin. We set them up, LMAO, but he refuses to meet my mom because of how my girlfriend was treated. She's never commented on their relationship. Advice needed on staying no contact with just no mother. Back on the original post. I doubt y'all are still lurking here, but I thought I'd give a mini update. After spending some time on r/justnomother-in-law and speaking with my therapist, I've decided the best course of action on reestablishing total no contact is having a lawyer contact my mother. I've made contact with a good lawyer today, and we're going to begin drafting a letter to send to her. Some stuff I've seen on Just No Mother-in-Law forum have worried me, so I've also begun collecting evidence needed for a restraining order. I don't know how well old texts and videos will work, but it's worth a shot. My girlfriend thinks I'm being too militant, LMAO. I think her time away has made her forget the worst of it, but she appreciates that I want to protect her. Judging by some of the comments, I think some of y'all have assumed that we're moving in together, but we aren't. My mother does not know the address of where my girlfriend will be living. I got a lawyer to contact my toxic mother. Success! I posted on here a while ago, asking for advice on keeping my mother away, as my ex-wife, now girlfriend, is returning to the town we live in. I'll be referring to her as my girlfriend for the rest of the post. I decided the best course of action was to have a lawyer contact her. The lawyer sent her a simple letter explaining that he was a lawyer sent to tell her to stay away from me and that I would take legal action if she didn't. The lawyer said he could get into trouble if he didn't give a reason as to why he was sending it, so it briefly mentioned that I had gotten into a romantic relationship and I didn't want her involved because of what she did before. It didn't say that I had gotten back with my ex-wife. It started a whole fight with my parents and older siblings, and my dad actually turned up to my house to argue with me. He went on and on about how hurt my mother had been for the 2 years that I've been almost no contact with her. No mention of what she had done to me and my girlfriend. I like my dad, but he's a complete pushover. He does whatever my mother wants him to. I didn't tell him that I had gotten back with my girlfriend, but I told him flatly that my mother's insane behavior during my marriage meant that I wanted nothing to do with her now. He went with the classic, "She's your mother, and she loves you, and you're really hurting her" argument. But I didn't back down. I said that because the town we live in is so small, and I already run into her weekly, there's an extremely high chance that I'd run into while I'm with my girlfriend, and I didn't want her to go crap insane, so getting a lawyer to warn her was the best course of action. I told him that the ball was in her court. If she continued to respect my no contact, then this wouldn't have to go further, and we can all live peaceful lives. My dad eventually ended up agreeing with me, and after I told him to never turn up unannounced again, he left and promised to explain this all to my mother, basically telling her that if she behaved, I wouldn't sue. My older sisters have all called me to call me every bad name in the book, but I sent them all the same text, telling them to mind their own business, and the harassment stopped. It's been a day since all that happened, and my father said my mother agreed to leave me alone. I know I can't take her word for it, but it's a start. As last time I tried to establish no contact, she went insane. I've spoken to a realtor to get my house on the market sometime mid-October. I want to sell it as soon as possible, but my girlfriend wants to have a look around before I do, so that's why I'm waiting. I'll be moving to a neighboring town, so I'll still be able to keep my job and see my friends and decent family. I won't be attending family events where my mother is at anymore. It's going to be sad missing my nieces and nephews' birthdays, but I'll just swing by at a different time to give them their presents. So far so good. It's been a tentative success. Still a month before my girlfriend is back, so I've got time to deal with any problems that arise before her arrival. In my last post, I think some people assumed that my girlfriend would be moving in with me, but that's not the case. My mother doesn't know the address of where she'll be staying. Here's to more successes. Update. Hello everyone. Sorry for keeping y'all waiting. I tried to post on the relationship advice sub, but it wouldn't go up. My last post was insanely long, so this one will definitely be short and sweet. My girlfriend has been back for a week today, and it's been the best week of my life. I picked her up from the airport last Saturday. I brought her a gigantic daffodil bouquet, and we both cried, "Mayo." Seeing and hearing her again in person was so surreal because I'm so used to speaking to her over video calls. Her accent has gotten more British now, and it's so cute. The drive back to our town was so difficult because I had to keep my eyes on the road, but I wanted to look at her the entire time. We had the homecoming party at my home, our old marital home, on Sunday, and it was amazing. It felt just like old times when we were still married and we hosted our friends. She stayed to help me clean up with my brother, and unfortunately, her older brother too, who does not like me. She wanted to come over and have a look at my house before I put it on the market, and we did that on Tuesday. It was extremely emotional, and we both ended up crying, especially when we got to the master bedroom. When she left, I moved my things into another bedroom and basically locked up our old shared bedroom and forgot about it. I went in about once a month to clean it, but other than that, it stayed locked. Our old rings, a few things she had left behind, and some things that were too painful for me to look at were in there, like framed photos we had together. She ended up taking her old wedding and engagement rings to wear on a necklace, which was really touching, actually, because I thought she wanted to completely forget our previous relationship and start fresh. I'm happy to know that she looks back on our past together fondly, despite it being a hot mess. Yes, if we do get married again, I will 100% be buying new rings. We've hired a counselor so we can work through our relationship, and our first appointment is next week, so wish us luck. I have an appointment to get the house valued next week too, so I can sell it as soon as possible. My girlfriend is currently staying with a family member, and she's apartment hunting, so we also have some appointments next week to look at places for her. So the coming week is pretty jam-packed for us. We won't be living together for a while, so we can take this slower than last time. Last time we got engaged after 6 months and married 6 months later. During the week she's been back, we've been together for a few hours, except when I'm working, every single day apart from Wednesday. I know some of you guys will probably be wondering about my mother, and I have good news about her. We live in a small town, so it was 100% likely that my girlfriend would have run into my mother within her first week back. She ran into her on Wednesday, and my mother did not do anything. My girlfriend was out with her younger sister at Starbucks, and my mother noticed my girlfriend and then turned around and got on with whatever she was doing like a normal person. I will never be open to re-establishing communication with my mother, but it actually looks like she's learned her lesson after 2 years of very less contact. Unfortunately, my lawyer said I probably wouldn't get a restraining order against my mother, so I am seriously hoping she continues to be good. According to my siblings and father, she didn't even tell them she had seen my girlfriend. I have to clarify here that she does not know that we are back together, and I'm hoping to move to the next town over to keep it that way. Once again, thank you all for your support and encouragement. I will be eternally grateful that you guys convinced me to ask her out back then instead of waiting for now, and she wants me to thank you all too. Y'all are awesome. In the last update, we moved in together. My girlfriend couldn't find an apartment she liked, and we decided to live together again. Other than that, no more developments.